Welcome to The Explainer. So today we are diving straight into something that literally affects every single one of us, and that's fear. Now, usually we think of fear as this massive, paralyzing roadblock, right? But we are going to completely flip that script. We're looking at a game-changing concept from Steve Chandler's 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself, and we're going to see how to actually transform fear from a barrier into a flashing green light for action. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The true cost of fear. Okay, to really understand how to conquer fear, we first got to recognize just how incredibly destructive avoiding it can actually be. Take this intense quote from General George Patton. Fear kills more people than death. Now I know, that sounds like a massive exaggeration at first, right? But when we unpack it, the stakes of letting fear run the show become absolutely crystal clear.
Think about it like this. On the one hand, you have death. It kills us exactly once. And honestly, we usually don't even know it's happening. It's final. But fear? Man, fear kills us over and over again. It kills our dreams, it kills our potential, our relationships. And here's the kicker. If we try to just avoid our fears, they don't magically disappear. They actually chase us down like persistent dogs. The absolute worst thing we could possibly do is just squeeze our eyes shut and pretend they aren't barking right on our heels.
Section 2. The comfort zone trap.
So, when those persistent dogs start chasing us, our natural, completely human instinct is just to hide. But renowned psychologist Nathaniel Branden points out something absolutely crucial. He says that fear and pain are actually signals, and they aren't signals to hide or close our eyes, but to open them wider. See, by giving in to that instinct to just shut our eyes, we don't actually find peace. We just end up trapped in the darkest of comfort zones, literally buried alive. And to see how truly tragic this can play out in real life, just look at the famous musician Janis Joplin. Her biography, which chronicled her terrible battle with substance abuse, was actually, and very aptly titled, Buried Alive. For Janis, and really for anyone battling similar demons, substances act as an artificial, dangerously temporary antidote to fear. You know, it's really no accident that out on the old frontier, they used to call whiskey false courage. It's just another way of closing your eyes to the fear rather than opening them wider.
Section 3. The number one fear.
All right, so we've talked about the extreme, tragic consequences, but let's shift gears to a super relatable, everyday anxiety that holds millions of people back. What do you think the absolute number one fear in the world is? It's not heights, it's not spiders, it's not even death. The greatest fear for humanity is public speaking. Crazy, right?
This stat actually prompted a brilliant observation from Jerry Seinfeld. He joked that at a funeral, most people would literally rather be in the coffin than delivering the eulogy, which is hilarious, but it really hits the nail on the head about a deeply paralyzing human condition. And you know, this wasn't just some funny data point for the author, Steve Chandler. It was a fiercely personal battle.
When Chandler was a kid, he was so terrified of public speaking that he would actually plead with his teachers to let him off the hook. He would volunteer to write 2 or even 3 book reports, literally triple the homework, just to get out of giving a single oral presentation. And the bitter irony of all this, as he grew older, his ultimate biggest dream was to become a public speaker. He wanted to teach self-motivation, but his stage fright kept him completely, hopelessly frozen.
Section 4. Action cures fear.
So we've seen how deeply this stuff can paralyze us. Now let's look at the incredible turning point that sparked a permanent cure for him. Picture this. Chandler is just driving around in Phoenix. He's flipping through radio stations and accidentally lands on this religious broadcast. Right at that exact second, this highly dramatic preacher is just yelling at the top of his lungs. Chandler tried to change the station, but it was too late. Deep down, he kind of knew he'd just stumbled on the exact words he desperately needed to hear.
And these were the words just blasting out of the speakers. Run toward your fear. Run right at it. Chandler says that no matter what station he turned to after that, those words just kept echoing in his head. And this was it. This was the turning point. He realized that the more he ran from his fear of speaking, the bigger and scarier it got. He had to stop running away, turn around, and run directly at it.
But here's the thing. He didn't just sit and ponder this nice quote. He took immediate, rapid action. Literally on day 1, he called an actress friend to help him enroll in an acting class. Over the next 3 weeks, he basically lived in a state of sheer anxiety. It wasn't some instant magic cure. But he stayed in that class because he finally understood that the only way around the fear was straight through it. And because he did that, his entire future completely opened up.
This absolutely crucial point is captured so beautifully by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "The greater part of courage is having done it before." I love that. The fear of doing something can literally only be cured by actually doing it. Chandler's confidence wasn't built by planning or overthinking. It was built by standing up and speaking, over and over again.
There's this fantastic metaphor for it. Fear is basically like a waterfall. And the rush you get after running directly through that freezing waterfall is the most energizing feeling in the entire world. It's like the world's best kept secret. If you pass through even a thin curtain of fear, your confidence just skyrockets. Because on the other side of that scary, noisy waterfall, there is something incredibly safe and profoundly beneficial just waiting for you.
Which brings us to a final challenge for you. Right here, right now. If you're feeling undermotivated or maybe just stuck in a rut, the answer is not to go looking for more comfort. Ask yourself, what is a fear that you can tackle today? Find that fear. Run right at it. Run through that waterfall and just watch what happens to your life. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and seriously, go tackle a fear today.